Hi everyone. How are you doing today? As you can see, this time I had some issues and had to switch my voice. Today we have a quick guide for quite an old Pokemon in this game. In fact, this was one of the Pokemon available when the game was released. What am I saying? At this point you looked at the screen already. And as you can probably guess by now, today we'll talk about Machamp. Machamp is an all-rounder that has a really strong basic attack and can deal good bursts of damage with his moves while also having one of the most powerful Unite moves inside the game. So this Pokemon is able to one-shot weaker targets, while also being capable of holding longer fights against tankier opponents. But as you know, there aren't perfect Pokemons in this game. So one of the issues you'll find here is the early and mid-game. If you fall behind in the beginning of the match, before you evolve into Machamp, you'll have to struggle a little to get back into the game. And I don't know if this only happens to me, but in Thea Sky Ruins, I found my Unite move stopping at walls so often when compared to Remote Stadium. There are so many edges where your Unite move can get stuck, so it's harder to get a lot of value out of your Unite. You can play this Pokemon on either the bottom or top lane. I prefer the bottom one, since you can get more XP there and can still get your attack weight stacks. Now with all of that in mind, let's head into the practice area and check out how this Pokemon works. First we have the boosted basic attack. It deals a good amount of damage while also slowing the target by 50% during 1 second, making it hard for your opponents to run away once you get in close range. And your passive will increase your attack by 10% during 5 seconds, every time you receive any debuff. So any kind of slow or stat decrease will cause this passive to trigger, making each one of your attacks stronger. And now, for our first move choice, we have to decide between either Karate Chop or Bulk Up. I highly recommend starting off with Karate Chop, since it's your only damaging move at this point and can even hit multiple targets, speeding up your clears when first walking towards your lane. And as I said, this is a really straightforward move. It deals a really good amount of damage and nothing else. Is a strong tool for securing farm, but the range isn't that great, so you still need to be relatively close to your target. Next we have our other option, Bulk Up. This is a great move that, unlike Karate Chop, does everything. Make you unstoppable while increasing your attack by 15%, attack speed by 40% and movement speed by 30% for 3 seconds, and also gives you a boosted attack. These buffs will decrease after each second. So the moment you press the button, you'll receive those exact stat increases for only 1 second, and after that they'll slowly fade during those remaining seconds. After all of that, I don't think I need to explain why this is a great move. Not only does this give you more damage, but is one of the only moves that make you unstoppable. Being able to make yourself unstoppable this early is a huge advantage against some strong early game laners, like Pikachu and Ninetales. So if used correctly, this move can either save you or help you finish off your target. When you reach level 5, you get to pick a new move that will replace Bulk Up. You'll need to choose between Dynamic Punch or Submission. We'll start with Dynamic Punch. This move makes you jump towards the designated direction and will become unstoppable while jumping. You'll deal damage, stun everyone inside that area for half a second and slow them for 3 seconds. Also your attack stat will be increased by 15% and you'll walk 40% faster. But like Bulk Up, these buffs will decrease after every second up to the third one, when they'll be completely gone. The boosted attack is also here as well. The upgraded move will further increase your attack and movement speed by 5% and 30% respectively. So there's a lot to talk about here. First, you can also get some good use of that brief unstoppable status, although it is harder to pull off here. But this move excels at taking you right to your target to quickly burst them down, and if they still have some health remaining, they will still be moving slower while your movement speed will be way higher, so you can quickly catch up anyway. So Dynamic Punch by itself will make sure you can get a boosted attack and your other move afterwards. Trust me, you'll do this a lot when playing this Pokemon. This move is especially good when used with the eject button to increase your range and surprise your opponents. The other option in this move slot is Submission. You'll be unstoppable for 5 seconds after pressing the button. Yeah, unstoppable again. I know, it's not very original at this point. You'll also walk way faster, 70% faster to be exact. But once again, this bonus will also decrease after each second. While this move is active, your next boosted attack you grab the target you hit and throw it behind you. After that, your attack speed will be increased by 50% and your critical hit chance will be increased by 5%. The upgraded move will increase these stat boosts further. The attack speed by 10% and the critical hit chance by 5%. This move may seem like a very good move, but you need to use the damaging part of the move carefully. That animation takes some time and in team fights you may not have all the time if you're being targeted by everyone else. So be smart when picking your target and remember that you don't need to finish the move if you like it's risky. Also, submission doesn't lock you from using your other move. Both moves receive their upgrades at level 11. For the next choice, we have either Close Combat or Cross Chop. Close Combat makes you attack enemies in front of you for 1 second. During this time you'll be unstoppable and will still be able to move around, but can't face into another direction. This move has 5 hits in total, but the last one is way stronger than the first 4 individually. When the move upgrades, it will deal 25% more damage to enemies afflicted by any debuff. In my opinion, this move works best when paired together with Dynamic Punch. This way you can stun and slow your enemy for close combat's entire duration and also can provide a debuff to increase its damage when the move upgrades. The next move you can choose in this slot is Cross Chop. You'll dash while dealing damage to everyone in your way. This move has an additional 5% critical hit chance and after using it, you also increase your critical hit chance by 5%. So this move is more likely to critically hit and afterwards your basic attacks will have that bonus for a short while as well. When this move receives its upgrade, for each enemy you hit with your basic attacks, your attack stat will increase by 2 up to 80. This buff will last for the rest of the match, so it's almost like a new passive ability. Cross Chop provides a lot of mobility and can potentially be the strongest move in Machamp's kit to one-shot your enemies. Just by the fact that this move can crit, you can probably guess that there's always a possibility that your target will just vanish as soon as you hit this move. But if you are not that lucky, you can still rely on your basic attacks with the increased critical hit chance this move provides. And keep in mind that the held item scope lens will give you a lot of extra damage if you want to use this move. Now we can finally talk about one of the strongest moves in the game. Machamp's Unite move. You can press this move twice within 10 seconds. When you use the move the first time, you'll get the regular Unite move stat boosts from Machamp, which increases movement speed, attack speed and a shield, but you'll also get an increase in your movement speed by 5%, your attack by 30% and both of your defenses by 200 points. If you use the Unite move again within those 10 seconds, you'll punch multiple times in the designated direction while pushing everyone you hit. This makes sure you'll hit every hit once the first one connects with your target. If you hit an unstoppable target from close range, you'll most likely miss most of the Unite move. Okay, this move has the potential to single-handedly win you games. If your enemies are all close to each other, the massive amount of damage will KO almost the whole team. But if they're more spread out over the map, you can one-shot the most important Pokemon from the other team by yourself. And remember that you don't need to instantly use the second part of this move. You can use the Unite the first time, then stun your target with another move, just to make sure you'll hit your follow-up. How well you use this Unite move will have a huge impact on your win rate with this Pokemon. Now that we went over each one of Machamp's moves, let's take a look at some good items you can pick that will help you win your games. First, for the held items. Unlike other Pokemons, here my only recommendation is the eject button. The ability to reposition yourself in the middle of your moves is unbelievably strong here. You can suddenly jump towards your enemies with Dynamic Punch or Cross Chop or realign your Unite move in case you miss the first hit. But feel free to try other options. For the held item choices, I once again made the tier list. And for my best picks I choose Razor Claw. This item will give you some extra damage with those basic attacks you can sneak in between or after your moves. This can sometimes be the difference between being able to one-shot your enemy letting it run away. Next I have Scope Lens. This item is basically mandatory if you want to use Cross Chop. You'll get extra critical hit chance and damage when you crit. Attack weight makes a huge difference to this Pokemon's overall damage. Between critical hits and moves that multiply your damage, I'll always recommend running attack weight here. But be careful when stacking, most of the time you don't want to trade a stack for a KO. You can also consider running Focus Band to keep you alive for longer. Energy Amplifier, to make sure you will wipe the whole enemy team if you land a good Unite move. It's not every match that you will have a chance to hit a lot of targets with your Unite move. But when you do, that's when you'll get the most out of this item in my opinion. Buddy Barrier will help your team after you unite, it's just a good item overall. You can also pick Weakness Policy to give you some extra attacks sometimes. Both Muscle Band and Rapid Fire Scarf are not that useful here since you don't use your basic attack that much, especially in the late game. You usually will not have room left for either Eos Cookie or Score Shield since those aren't your priorities when building this Pokémon. And lastly, for your emblem choices. Like most attack-based Pokémons, I recommend running brown and white emblems while trying to increase your attack and HP stats. But if you want to use Cross Chop more effectively, you can also equip emblems that increase your critical hit chance. If you can, try prioritizing those colors here as well. And that's all for Machamp. Now you have all the tools to understand and make a build for this Pokémon by yourself. And if you want to see more guides like this, please consider subscribing, I would really appreciate having you around. I hope this video was helpful. And until next time.